Hello, everyone. Give me 1 second, guys. I just sat here this whole time and done forgot to plug the daggone microphone in. Give me 1 second. Lord. Here we go. Me and my foolishness and my craziness. Come on, thing. All right, there we go. There we go. Alrighty. Boom. Alrighty. Grand Rising, everyone. Hello, Miss Dolores. Hello there. How are you? Hey, um, Evangelist. Hello there. How are you? Hello, Lolita. Hello there. Hello. Um, Deja, Grand Rising. Hey, Miss Robin. How are you? Hey, TT. Grand Rising, everybody. Hey, Miss Teresa. I hope you guys had a great weekend so far. I did. I did some cleaning, cleaned up my office a little bit, got some things out the way. And yeah, preparing for hey Braden. Hey Trawana. Hello there. How are you? Grand Rising. Hey Elizabeth. I see y'all rolling in here. Please take a second to share if you can. Share if you can. And if you are new here, go ahead. I finally caught a YT live. I'm live every single Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm working on trying to give y'all two weekend shows though. That's what I'm definitely working on, and it'll be twice a month. I'm also trying to turn one of those shows into like a podcast setting with me and some other royals who are content creators as well. And I'll be pushing out that information very soon. But if you guys haven't taken the time to subscribe to savageroyalty.com, please make sure that you do so. It's always new stories popping up. Even though sometimes if I don't do a show about a story, it doesn't mean that I don't know about the story. Some stories I will blog first before I actually do a show on them. So if you haven't subscribed to the emails yet or became an official member, a lot of you guys have subscribed, but you're not an official member to the website. So you don't get to be able to access the spaces or get your certain perks, i.e., your notifications to let you know when I'm live, what I have going on, as well as some of the exclusive content that will be available only on savageroyalty.com. I haven't pushed any new exclusive content out as of yet, but I will be working on it. Okay. I spent time with my family and new addition to the family. What new addition? Got a new kid? New kid or new pet? Which one? Got a new kid or a new pet? Because I can tell y'all something. Y'all remember I told y'all that I wanted a cat? Well, y'all know I got the cat. And when I say he is demanding, he is demanding. He reads me for filth. I'm convinced that my cat talks. And even my daughter said it this morning. She was like, he only does this when you're around. Literally looks directly in my face. A new nephew, congratulations. Looks me directly in my face and just meow for nothing. I'm like, why do you only do this to me? Why do you only cuss and fuss at me? Nobody else in this house does he do this to. But yeah, that's my he is he is something else. Am I clear today, guys? We are still on the camera today. Am I clear? Am I clear? Let me know in the comments how we looking. I am. If this, I did test this on Friday because of my camera on my computer was already acting crazy, and I did look okay. So this is another round of this to see how it looks. So if this looks right, Bigo, you guys will officially be able to get your shows recorded, and then you guys that watch me on YouTube but don't have Bigo, you will be able to see some of the Bigo shows. Okay. Today on Bigo, we will be discussing. So apparently, when it comes to the Kimani Latea case, okay, over the weekend, the house that Kimani was found in, it was caught on fire. Now, there are people that are saying that it was caught on fire and someone put it on fire. While there are some people who say that possibly the authorities set it on fire in preparations to get rid of the house. You know, they were supposed to get rid of the house and they're supposed to be taking down some abandoned homes within the area. But it's kind of strange, as well as some messages that has begun to surface in regards to Kimani's case. Now, when it comes to these messages, I don't know if they're real I will say that what is said in the messages makes sense. It does in regards to the father's charges. So we're going to read over all the messages, go over the fire, and all of those things in reference to to Naziah's case. So we're going to talk about Naziah's case very briefly as well, because it looks like that her cousin, who is Jarvis Butt's daughter, has been exposing the family, as well as exposing some videos and things of that nature that was found in Kimani's phone, and then things that she had as well. So we're gonna go over some of those videos today too. Okay, that's what's on the lineup. They're really trying to cover it up. Yeah, and then here's the thing: they also released like three names of three other people when it comes to Kamani's case. Alrighty, so today we're gonna get into this woman here, Gina Emmanuel. She is 56 years old, and she is a registered nurse from Miami, Florida. And she adopted four children back in 2017, including a 7-year-old girl by the name of Samaya. So, at the time of Samaya's death in November of 2018, Gina was also caring for a 13-year-old child, a 7-year-old child, both of them are girls, and a 5-year-old little boy, okay? As well as her biological adult son who had Down syndrome. So Emmanuel had also ran a group home for adults with disabilities, despite several red flags over the years. And it was noted, and prior to her getting these children, she should even have been able to keep children, have a home for disabled children, and continue to keep her license, but she was able to. Okay. So Samaya had been under the state supervision for years prior to prior due to her biological mother's drug abuse. Okay. Okay. So that's why Samaya was in this woman's custody, Gina. So she was adopted by Gina after a reported 10 calls to Florida's child abuse hotline between 2012 and 2015, which had went unaddressed. Okay. Basically, prior to Samaya even coming, there was 10 reports about Gina already. Okay. So Samaya should have never went there. So the investigation into Gina Emmanuel had begun after Samaya was found unresponsive in her bed on November the 3rd of 2018 at the family's Northeast Miami-Dade apartment. So EMS personnel had noted that there was fluid in her lungs, and she was also later pronounced deceased at the hospital despite them attempting to resuscitate her. Okay. So upon their inspection, medical personnel did discover that Samaya was severely malnourished. She was underweight, as well as her bones was protruding from her body. And there was some opened wounds on her, scratches, burns, and old bruises as well. There was several wounds that were so severe that they had required some treatment from EMS. Um, for some wound care. So the cause of death was to be pneumonia, but basically what they're saying is that the pneumonia on top of the abuse, as well as Gina neglecting to even get her help while she was sick. Okay, basically medical neglect. So authorities had launched a broader investigation that had led to the removal of her surviving adopted siblings and interviews that uncovered a widespread, very sadistic lifestyle of abuse in which these children had endured. Okay. So in 2012 to 2015, Samaya name had appeared 10 times in child abuse hotline reports. In 2017, Emmanuel had adopted Samaya and three of her children. Okay. Now, October through November of 2018, Samaya had become severely ill, but she was denied medical treatment. Okay. So basically, she started off as a foster and then it became an official adoption. All right. So on November the 5th, the surviving children was evaluated, and they had physical abuse signs that was documented. In January of 2019, DCF had interviewed and revealed that Emmanuel had chained the children to beds and inflicted punishment upon them. In May of 2019, a judge had terminated Gina Emmanuel's parental rights. And then in October of that same year, Emmanuel had confessed to causing the injuries and failing to seek medical attention. October the 15th of 2019, Emmanuel was then arrested. Between 2023 and 2024, the case did proceed to trial, and on April the 15th of this year, Emmanuel was convicted of first-degree murder and 2 counts of aggravated child abuse. So when it comes to the investigation and what they found in the midst of this, okay? Now, Hey the Real Books, how are you? She needs to get a taste of the treatment that she gave the children. And the extensive treatment in which she gave them, it's like this woman literally adopted children with the goal in mind to torture them. And that's just honest. Because the level of abuse that these children were dealing with was very extensive. Very extensive. But here's the thing. She shouldn't have been able 10 calls. How was she able to proceed with an adoption when there was 10 reports of abuse during the foster care process? That's what's confusing to me. How was she able to keep her license? All the children should have been taken years prior to the adoption even becoming official. Okay? Now, there was some medical evidence. So Samaya's autopsy did reveal extensive malnourishment, untreated pneumonia, as well as the open wounds, and her condition was consistent with long-term torture. So when it comes to the survivors, some of them did testify against Gina, and they told the authorities the truth. So the 12-year-old sister had testified detailing beatings, which included chaining and punishments like being forced to be held in a crucifix-style position for hours. Okay? There also was a confession from Emmanuel where she admitted during the interview with police that she had caused injuries and did not seek medical attention for the children. Okay? So in the list of stages of abuse in which this woman had caused these children, because it gets deeper than just, and it may sound like, well, Savvy, chaining is deeper. It is deep. But it's worse than that though when it comes to the levels of abuse in which the children had endured. Okay? So let's go over that. Give me 1 second. So they had been chained to their beds. Um, they were blindfolded with socks. Their hands was held on a stove that was hot as a punishment. Okay, basically putting their hands on the burner as it's hot. Hey, Miss Carla, and making them hold it there as a punishment. Forced starvation, as well as sleep deprivation, and psychological manipulation, and instructions to lie to the authorities as well. Okay, this woman is a demon. If you can do this, you're a demon. Hey, Darnisha, I wonder what her childhood was like. I wouldn't be surprised if she went through this before herself, honestly and truly. I wouldn't even be surprised. Because where do you even get this from? Like, what it makes me, because a lot of people underestimate the fact that abuse can be handed down, honestly. Um, and sometimes adults do carry on the abuse in which they endure it to their children. And it's because they don't know any other way. And they also haven't taken the time to understand that that method of discipline is not right. Um, but these children will be stuck with the trauma that this woman had. But the system failed this case dramatically. Okay, 10 calls is insane. 10. We're not talking about one or two. We're not talking about how they're trying to say in Kimani's case that it was only 2 calls in the last year. Okay? Or 2 calls in the last 2 years, however they said it, but this is 10 calls. And then still after those 10 calls, this woman was able to still adopt children, still have a group home for people that are disabled, still be a nurse. So, in one child's testimony, she says she would chain us. She would have us lay down and she would chain us and lock us up until she got back. And keep in mind, she was a nurse. Typically, nurses work about 12 hours a day in some cases. So, she did face multiple counts of aggravated child abuse charges, child neglect, and first degree murder. And she was convicted on the 2 counts of aggravated child abuse. So Emmanuel was ordered to have no contact with her children. Supervised visits were also previously restricted to 1 hourly before rights were then terminated. Okay, get into this, guys. So even after the death of Samaya, she still had the children in her custody. Okay, and then they slowly took the kids away, and then gave her supervised visits, and then it transferred over to no contact at all. But these children were still forced to stay with this woman even after Samaya passed. So when it comes to her nursing license, because I know a lot of you guys are wondering, did she keep her nursing license? Yes. Even after Samaya's death, she kept her nursing license. So the Florida Department of Health has suspended Emmanuel's nursing license months after Samaya's death. Her group home license was revoked 5 months after Samaya's death. So, despite the 10 prior abuse reports involving Samaya before adoption, post adoption checks was ceased. However, it continued to allow her to abuse even after all of this. Okay. Because, of course, Samaya was there for the foster part of it. And even as those calls was coming in, they still allowed her to adopt. You also had the systematic failure of the delayed license suspension. I don't know what took her job so long because if I was someone or a manager or a leader of some form of healthcare, I wouldn't want a woman whose child just now died in her custody that died with burn marks and bruises on her body. And she failed to get medical assistance for the children. Samaya died of pneumonia, yes, but she had bruises all over her body. Bruises all over her body. Now, due to the initial cause of death, which was pneumonia, that could have added to why it took them so long to fire her. But still, in that, once everything, I know that 5 months in, details begin to come out. This woman should have been fired. There's no way that she should have been able to keep her job because if she was doing this to the children, we know that she was doing it to the disabled adults, and it's 9 times out of 10 that she's probably done some things to patients over the years. I wouldn't even be surprised because one thing I know about abusers, it's like a it's like a craving to see someone hurt. It's a craving to see someone in pain. So you never know when they're going to partake in that craving. And it sounds crazy and it sounds strange, but that's sometimes how abuse work. Abuse, especially among to those that are weak, like people that are disabled and children. Because of course they cannot fight back. They cannot fight back at all. But sometimes when that demon kicks in and takes over, it's no control of when that is going to happen. So I wouldn't even be surprised if there was more people that has been either abused or hit or something with this woman at one of these medical facilities. Okay? It really seems like the CPS workers are getting kicked back and wiping the fleet clear of these people that are abusive to these children. Yeah, they are. They are. It's like I don't know if it's because the system feels as though that children are safer with their parents, and so they try to like drag their feet on who should be taken. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what plays a role in this whole CPS failure thing. It's either it's either understaffing, that's one thing, okay? Work overload is another thing. And then you have people that's not experienced to truly understand when a child should be taken and when a deeper investigation needs to happen. This is why I am one that believes that in order for you to be a CPS worker, you must have some form of investigative background. I don't care what it is, whether it's law, whether it's, criminal justice, whether it's something, but you need to have some form of investigative background. Or if you have some type of, um, community background, there needs to be some form of law added into those teachings of it so that you guys can understand how to properly investigate abuse. Because I really feel like that's something that plays a role in it too, is that a lot of people that are in these positions to protect children in CPS, they're not educated enough to identify an abused child. They don't know when a deeper investigation needs to be had. They don't know how to identify when a child is being manipulated. They don't know how to identify when a child is afraid. They don't know how to identify the signs unless they see bruises and burns and stuff like that. Where sometimes abuse doesn't have to be physical, it can actually be an action and how a child is acting. So basically, how they look at someone. If they're a little jumpish, like if you raise your hand and the child instantly jumps at a parent like that, if you guys know, you can tell if you walk up to a child and their parent is abusive to them, all that if that parent just raised their hand just one time, the child will instantly flinch. And it's because they're so used to that hand coming up to hit them. If a child is not being abused, their parent can do all type of movements in their face and they will never flinch, and it's because they're not a child that is being abused. But there are some people that are a part of CPS that would never even understand that. They will never understand that or how to identify that, you know, or if they've seemed emotionally numb. Exactly. It's just one of those things that I think that they're not educated. They're not educated. They're under a lot of pressure while also not being able to understand the gravities of abuse and the certain stages of it too. Many times they go looking for, marks and things. Sometimes it doesn't look like that, you know? Sometimes they go to look and see if the house is clean. Sometimes the house can be really clean, but that has nothing to do on whether or not a child is being abused. Okay? And then take into this. Some people know that when CPS comes to the house, what has to be there when they get there. Some people will actually go out to ensure that it's there by the time CPS get there, but any other time it's not there. So it's just one of those things that I really think that they just don't understand, guys, really. Yes, please like this video if you like this video. Most of them are in it for just the check. That too. Now that right there is sick. That is sick. And I say this all the time. If you are a person that if it's two positions that I know, well, it's a few positions, but child protective services, nursing, doctors, teachers, if your heart is not in it, move. Those are jobs that you have to have a passion and your heart must be in it. If it's not in it, get out the way. If you don't have a passion for what you're doing, move out the way. There's no point of you taking up space for people that are truly getting into the field because they want to protect children or they want to protect the disabled or they want to give proper medical attention. Move out the way if you're not in it like that. Just get out the way. Get out the way. It's just that simple. They cannot just be jobs. These are not jobs. These are jobs of passion. These are jobs of concern. These are jobs that take your full attention. This is not a job that you just get up at 8 in the morning get dressed and walk in there as if it's just another day in the life and you just got to get it done for the money to pay your bills. This is not that type of job. There are so many people that are out in the world that would love to do these type of jobs, or they're already in this field and they do it with their heart and they do it with passion. And because of those that are in the way, it kind of screws it up for everyone. If you're not in it, move, because that also plays a role too. People in a position in which they don't really care for it, or simply because they feel like that it's a position of authority, or it's a position where they get, they just go in for their own selfish intentions. Get out the way. Get out the way. We're losing children, patients. I just now seen the other day where a woman was a nurse and she just got arrested because she was taking the patient's medication. She was actually taking the patient's medicine from them. A whole RN. What is the point of going to school, okay? Going to universities, paying this money, okay? Just to go and walk in this facility and lose it all because you want to abuse somebody, take medications, or you're just evil. What's the point? What did you do all that for? Did you go up to school just to take medicine from patients? Or did you go to school because you actually care? What did you go to school for? I never understand that. I never understand people spending years and years in school just to throw it away for something crazy. I don't get it. I never will understand it. My brain just does not process that, y'all. You don't need these meds. Give me that. Man, listen. Listen here. She was taking the meds to get high. There was another woman that was taking not morphine, fentanyl. She was taking fentanyl from the hospital to sell it, and she was refilling the bottles with water. Yeah, it's stuff like that going on. So on the back end of CPS, that is all screwed up. Okay, now imagine taking a child right through CPS just for them to be failed by CPS, and then you take them to the hospital just for a nurse to fail them. Then, okay, it's situations where the child is failed at home, and then the child is failed at the hospital, and here we are with this situation like this with Samaya. It's kind of crazy, waste of time, waste of money. I swear. And then on the back of this case here, there's three layers of people. The disabled children that she had custody of are affected. The foster children that she had are affected. And possibly the patients in which she dealt with is affected. I wonder did they dig in to see if there was any, reports of her and how she treat patients. I would love to know that. Because I would love to know what took y'all so long to fire her and suspend her license, the Department of Health. What were y'all waiting for? Why did it take y'all months to decide that this woman needs to be fired and suspended? And then CPS, y'all left the kids in her custody as a child had just passed away with 10 prior reports for that same said child. Hmm. It's kind of crazy. Revisit all her patients. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So she is due to be sentenced, guys. Um, she's due to be sentenced later on this month. You probably see me do the news post on that. In regards to let me show you guys. Just give you a quick update on the case that we covered last week. He has officially been found guilty. Y'all remember this story last week of the man? He was the one that uh basically created a fake stalker for his wife. He didn't want her to go. The wife was preparing for a divorce. He acted like she was his ex, her ex or whatever. And next thing you know, she was found deceased. Well, yeah, he's been found guilty. Okay. So that case has been closed out and he's officially been found guilty. All right. So that's a quick update on that. Bigo, I will be coming to you guys today. Okay. Apparently, over the weekend, well, last week, I want to say, there was some messages that began to surface in regards to Kimani's case. Okay, where a woman says that she was messaged randomly by someone that is closely connected to Kimani. And this said someone has given a really detailed description of what they say happened on the night in which Kimani lost her life. Okay. I don't know if these text messages and they're valid or factual, but a lot of people are believing it. So we're going to have a discussion about them today, and we can kind of pinpoint it together, as well as Naziah. So Naziah's cousin, um, who is Jarvis Butt's daughter, has been exposing the family, exposing her father. She also posted some videos and images that she found in Naziah's phone, is what they're saying. And there also was a picture of someone being pregnant, and many people thought that it maybe could have been Naziah's stomach. And we're going to go over that today as well. Okay. Um, as well as a woman who did a video, a 13-part series on TT, who something about someone has her baby. Okay, guys, it's kind of crazy. And we're going to go over that today on the Bigo side of things. All right. Alrighty, guys. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. And if you have not done so already, please like this video if you like this video. And if you are new here, please go ahead and subscribe. Also, oh, the real books. I did see your super sticker, your sticker that you sent the other day. So don't think I didn't see it because I know you sent it right as I was ending the show. I do have it. Okay, you are on the list. I wanted to let you know that. Okay. Now, for those of you that do want to enter into this month's raffle, all you have to do is send some form of super thanks, super sticker, or one of those things in order for you to be able to get entered into this month's raffle. Okay. The raffle does end at the end of the month, and you do get an opportunity to win some unreleased SavageRoyalty.com merch that will be released in March, but you will be the first to have it. Okay. So please make sure that you if you want to enter, you enter like this at the bottom. All right. I'll see you guys later, and Bigo, I'm on my way to you. I made it to Bigo. Okay. I'm Bigo. I'm on my way to you. I'll be live in about 10 minutes. Okay. And thank you for watching True Crime with Savage Royalty.